right, give him an intro.
High
again.
Praise Podcast, ALITE, ACDJ.
I don't sing country.
No, you don't, but you did. And a very patient guest this evening.
He's amazing already.
Emerson Marshal. What's good, man?
Oh, I'm doing very well, guys. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, joining us all the way from Surrey.
Yeah, and let's not fake it. We've already talked to him.
Yeah,
all right. Like we're not fake on this fucking show. We just had a technical difficulty, and we're back with this guy.
But it's still important to know. The first thing that we said was, people don't share their platforms.
No, they don't.
Yeah. I've been doing music in the city for a long ass time, and a lot of the events that I'm a part of are normally because the people that are putting on the event are people that I'm very close to. Because people don't willingly say, "Hey, man, I think you're dope. Join, come and rock this or come and do that." So one of the goals of this podcast from the get-go was to make sure that everybody that we thought has something happening, something unique happening, or at least trying to do something unique, that we'd kind of be the people to be like, "Hey, man, let's share our platform and put people on." So it's cool to be put in touch with you.
Definitely.
And we paid attention to your YouTube page just to kind of get an idea of who you are and what you do. And what's your motivation for focusing your talents on this kind of area of entertainment?
My motivation is the lack of representation. I really want to incorporate, or I want to be one of the people that incorporates this style of interviewing into mainstream radio stations. They don't do this, unfortunately. In the States, they do it very well. They have a bunch of radio stations dedicated to the urban music scene. Yeah. Lack of a better term. But in Canada, specifically on the West Coast, they don't do that. And it's really unfortunate. I understand it's a demographics issue, but I feel like if they incorporated, it would be valued very well. So that's my motivation. I feel like it needs to be, it needs to be, there needs to be money put behind it, and it needs to be represented a lot better than it is now.
But is it really a demographics issue? I mean, like hip hop in Lower Mainland has been popping since I was a kid. Every hip hop concert that comes sold out front to back. We've had every huge hip hop artist from North America tour here. Like, they all make Vancouver a go-to and a stop. But Vancouver artists don't benefit or don't get the trickle down that they should get from having such a huge scene here.
I agree. It's pretty funny because you're right. I mean, we've had artists like Ice Cube come down here, and obviously more modern, bigger artists like Drake and The Weeknd and stuff like that. Yeah. But I feel like what it comes down to is that I guess the radio industry is very they're afraid of changing their formula, because the formula works. It works really well. You have the top 40s, which is, Ed Sheeran, Shawn Mendes, Camila Cabello, and all those people, right? And then that brings lots of money, lots of ad revenue and stuff like that. So, going out of that formula can be very scary. But I feel like they need to take the risk, because I feel like the majority of people from the ages of like 15 to 45 champion hip-hop music, R&B, soul, all that stuff. So I don't know why we're not being represented within mainstream television and radio.
I kind of think it's because the 90s created the new separation from us all. So for years, people of color were fighting to get equal stepping. In the 90s, we got it. In the 90s, it started happening with music and culture. We took it over, and I think mainstream, right? And I think that there was a new line drawn in the sand there, and that there was a new line that we couldn't get to again. You know what I mean? In a weird way, like, and I think that that the top 40 is just a way to keep everybody in place and in their lanes. So you feel like we broke the border and then a glass ceiling on top of it. Well, I still think like what he said, like, that it sells, pop music sells, right? And we've created that notion that pop music sells. We haven't created the notion that anything else sells. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, we do. Shitty rap sells products as well, like crappy songs. And not to mention wonderful songs like Whoop, There It Is being bastardized Right? Like
And the artist never
25
made a
years
buck.
later, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's really tragic how we don't take the rap music seriously. We take it as a joke. You know?
Yeah, it's cool when, you know, Snoop Dogg is in like a Lucky Charms commercial, but you know, when our own rappers that, you know, in our own very backyard, when we want to give them a platform, you know, to become the next Snoop Dogs, we won't do that. I think it's really weird, and I think it's very counterproductive. One thing that you brought up was really interesting. Was about the kind of like how we broke the barriers, and then in a way, the radio stations kind of had to divide us. Is I do believe that's because radio, like mainstream radio, is geared towards the traditional nuclear family.
Right.
So the ideal Western family, the mother, the father, and then the children. But urban music doesn't fall in that category. Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Pop does, and you know that is, everyone likes pop. Pop is a catch-all. Pop is loved amongst everyone, but to be a lover of hip hop and R&B and soul music, Black American music, essentially, you know you have to you have to think outside the box, and that's a little scary for people that are used to, you know, the traditional nuclear family lifestyle. And they don't want to sell that because ads can't companies that sell advertisements, they can't cater to that. You know, it's too dynamic. It's too up and down and all around. It's not linear like pop is. It's really interesting, and it makes a lot of sense from a business point, but it's frustrating.
And you know what I'm thinking now is that we continue on this conversation point, but the way I see it is hip hop is the most streamed music on the planet. It's the most sold music on the planet, most consumed music on the planet. Literally worldwide. This is not like a North American phenomenon. It's worldwide. The culture is worldwide. So it definitely is something that can be capitalized upon. You see the culture vultures taking advantage of it all the time. I remember Miley Cyrus was using hip hop in one of her albums. And then one album later, she's like, oh, I don't listen to hip hop. Hip hop is not good music. Like, what? You use it for your benefit as a prop? And then when, you know, the art form needs a voice to say, you know, hip hop is what matters. Katy Perry did the same thing. All these pop acts jack hip hop for their own little, you know, cute benefits. We see Katy Perry with cornrows. Honestly, I want to hit my TV. It just makes me sick, man. Like the buffoonery of being able to have white artists use hip hop like this, while people that actually make hip hop are just giving up making it because they have to, you know, go back to their jobs, go back to paying bills, go back to doing shit that is soul sucking. But hip hop won't pay the bills. Dude, if one radio station in Vancouver said, you know what, 1 hour every week, we're going to dedicate to local hip hop, that would change the game for hip hop artists in Vancouver.
I highly agree. I feel like taking a step further, if they dedicated a segment a week to highlighting local artists, local hip hop artists, R&B artists, and whatnot, that would change the game entirely, because then you would be introducing the audience to something new and something, you know, that would be really informative, because these artists are coming from the cities that you visited, that you live in. Coquitlam, Maple Ridge, Chilliwack, Surrey, Vancouver. You don't even know about it. And I can't believe that people aren't aware of that. It's so easy to look it up. All you have to do is type Vancouver hip hop on Facebook search engine, Instagram search engine, anything, and then it will show up.
We got a ton of artists out here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you why they don't do it.
Why?
Because the gangs around here start popping off at events and they can't handle it. If they promote hip hop, they know that the gangs are going to be at the shows and they're going to fuck it all up.
I don't like hearing this, because I'm telling you, man, more gangsters go to fucking raves and EDM parties.
You go to Jay-Z. I went to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Okay. Way back in the day.
Okay.
And I saw every single person that was in the game in Vancouver. If they blew up that arena that night, they would have taken out all of Vancouver's notorious gangsters that night. They knew it.
I've been going to hip hop shows since 1995. I've seen everybody. I've never seen a fight. You know why? Because everyone's smoking fucking weed. And people that smoke weed don't fight. The only time I've seen a fight at a hip hop show was that it was a festival that also had EDM and rock music and shit, and there was like a beer garden and everyone was drunk. Obviously, there was a fight, but hip hop shows don't big fight, and I think the stigma.
It's what they represent, bro.
That's what it is.
It isn't anything to do with fighting. It's what the city of Vancouver sees that they represent, right? And that's the problem, is that perception is everything.
Yeah.
And the perception for hip hop in this city is that it's gang attracted.
And it's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, they like Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds is a family man. He's perfect. But they don't want anyone else representing Vancouver, anyone that is a hip hop artist. They would prefer not to, because they want beautiful British Columbia to be clean, pristine, and a tourist attraction. Yeah. There's nothing attractive about the realities of some of these inner cities within the province and the people making music about it. And it's a reflection of the lives that they live. We like Ryan Reynolds. We don't like who's a good, are you familiar? He's a phenomenal Surrey artist. His name is Singh Mahal. He's great. He's relatively new
singer,
but he speaks on the Singh Mahal. He's relatively new. He came out, I do believe, 4 years ago, and he's taken a little hiatus. But yeah, he speaks on the life that he's lived and the lives that his peer groups lives, and it's not pretty. And people don't want to people don't want to highlight that, although it's a reality. They would prefer not to highlight that.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Surrey, actually. I was born in Surrey Memorial Hospital, and I've never moved, unfortunately. I don't want to say unfortunately.
What year were you born, bro?
1997.
Damn, you're a kid, yo.
Yeah, I know. I just turned 24 2 months ago.
Shit.
I smuggled my first kilo into the country in 1997.
That's not life advice.
Hey, I took my first breath. That year, man.
It's crazy. I have a kid that you're literally like 3 years older than.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. But the great thing about this scene, it's listen, it's age. I guess when you're in the mid 20s or like 20s, I guess I would view you as an adult, a young adult, but an adult.
Well, the thing is, for me, that's a really cool thing about hip hop, is that it obviously encompasses all generations, all eras. Everyone just kind of comes from whatever their own era is. Do you do any crate digging and go back to some of the old school hip hop, or are you just more of this era hip hop?
I have to. My father, man, he anytime I say anything inaccurate about musical history, he gets so upset, and
Nice.
What's his music?
He puts me on the right path.
Nice. I like that.
Oh, my father likes everything. He likes Genesis, The Police. He likes Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was originally born in Trinidad, and then when he moved here, he had to really, he had to educate himself on Western culture and Western.
Because they had the discos and shit in Trinidad still. Discos.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They were big on that.
Yeah, big
but
disco.
Yeah, so he's a huge fan of KRS-One and Public Enemy. He loves Public Enemy, and he always played that in the car and all that stuff.
That's a great education.
He's a more fan of New York rap than Yeah, and my mother too, actually. My mother really enjoys anything that my father listens to, so my mother enjoys all that stuff. So I had all these CDs to grab, and I still have all these. They send me CDs every now and then.
Such a trip.
All that stuff that I can.
So you've been exposed to some good stuff then.
Yeah, I would like to think so. At the time, I didn't think it was great. When I was like 11, 12, I was like, I want to listen to my shit, the shit that pardon my language, the shit that I grew up with.
Because it's a lesson. It's a lesson. Like, listening to some of that music is a lesson. Like you have to literally sit there and absorb it. Yeah. Otherwise, it just sounds like someone's like yelling at you, right? Like the first time I ever heard Razzcast's Nature of the Threat, he's got this song called Nature of the Threat, and he basically details the origins of white supremacy, where it was born, how it got to where it is. And dude, it is like a history lesson in a song, and it's incredible. But you have to want to take it in, otherwise it's just noise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're exposed to it early,
It's crazy.
you didn't have a choice, so you had to take the lesson. But it's good though, because as you get older, it kind of informs your taste, right? It informs your taste. So one thing I find interesting, you talk to a lot of rappers, a lot of MCs, and are there times where
thank you.
Are there times when people reach out to you like, hey man, I want to talk to you, and you listen to the music and you're kind of like, fuck, I don't know if I want to talk to this guy.
Very often. I feel like one of my it's what it is. Are you guys familiar with the Joe Budden podcast?
Oh yeah. Well, I know him.
Yeah, he's cold. He's cold as fuck.
Yeah.
Great, phenomenal rapper, but even better commentator. This guy is very entertaining. He said something extremely interesting. He said the barrier for entry in music is very low now, and it is. You don't, back in the 80s and 70s, you needed to be someone to have access to an audio engineering room. You needed to have credentials and you needed to have money. But now all I need is this microphone, which was about $70, my laptop, which was about $1,200. With student discount, it was like less. And I'm just it's a reality. It's very easy to make music now. So I get a lot of poorly mixed and mastered tracks, and the vocals sound like they were recorded on a Nokia, and it's not on beats. Like, I don't think people understand the rhythm nowadays. Like, people, I sometimes they send me stuff and I'm like, it's clearly off beat, and you had to have known that, because when you record, there's a metronome and it goes 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and you're not falling on the 1 2 3 4. Like, you have to know this. But I don't think people my age, slightly younger, slightly older, care about that. They just want to be a rapper, because being a rapper is cool. Like, oh, that guy's the rapper. Sick, he can get me backstage to opening for Nav or opening for The Weeknd, you know, and he can, and all the girls love rappers, and always smoking weed in his videos. That's sick. Like, but the music is garbage. Like, it's just terribly produced.
And here's the thing, man, it's not said enough. Everyone likes to pat their homie on the back and be like, yeah, that was dope. You can't say everyone's dope. Everyone's got to stop telling everybody they're the GOAT after one song. Everyone's got to stop leading fire.
It's emojis. Like a self-help group, the rap scene.
Right?
Hey?
Yeah, it's like, you make me feel better about myself, I'll make you feel better about yourself, right? And you just can't do it. Like what you said about, having a prerequisite. DMC from Run DMC said this too. It's like, rappers don't have prerequisites. And it's dope, because it's like, that's starting to become more of a theme. It's like,
it's horrible.
Well, and I think a big part of it is, dude, a lot of these guys have never performed on stage before, man. Have never stepped on a stage and rapped their track on a beat. They've never done it. So they don't really understand rhythm. It really is true, man. I think you develop rhythm and you develop patterns and you develop a connection to the music performing in front of people. Because when you can make people move to the way you're moving, that's the connection, right? Like, if I'm on stage and I grab a mic and someone plays a beat and I freestyle, I can get your head bobbing 100%, because I've done it 100 times. I know my freestyle game is sharp. Yeah. But if you can't even rap your own song without the backtrack playing behind you and get people moving, then you shouldn't be on stage, man.
Jesus, you're tough. You're fucking harsh, eh?
That's bro.
Wow, great. I don't want to be a rapper now.
No, but the thing is, like, it's true, because it's I do appreciate, and I'm grateful that the accessibility to becoming a musician is easy, but it does a lot of harm, because then it diminishes the meaning of artistry. Like, if you say you're a musician nowadays, a lot of people don't take that seriously.
Big facts.
Yeah, you're diluting it. A lot of people won't take you seriously if you say you're a rapper, because I know 5 of my friends that are rappers and they're not good, so you must be the same, I'm assuming. It's really unfortunate.
I think what also is there's a lot of spoiled fucking people who get mommy and daddy's credit card and make shitty music videos, and then they buy their views, and they fucking just drive me crazy with these shitty videos. Like, I'm telling you, I've seen them all.
We've seen a few,
right? And I know those people. I've seen them. I know them. I know a lot of people, and I'm like, it's the wrong thing. And this is where there needs to be a council or something, right? Like something that says, wait, pass the video through the council. Yes, there needs to be. It's like people need to have a license to have children, I think, in this world, right? You should have to pass through the rap council with a video.
Some kind of a citizenship test.
Help build the rap game
to be a
in the
hip-hop
city.
Citizen, right? You have to have like you have to be able to like rap juicy from front to back without dropping any words.
Oh god.
You have to have something outside of just rapping that you've contributed to hip hop, whether you've tagged the mailbox or like used the turntable of your homies or did a little, pop and lock. Hip hop is so much more than just being a rapper.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's missing.
I agree, and my apologies. You were about to finish something. My apologies.
No, go ahead. It's all you, brother.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I was just gonna say, I feel like one of the contributing factors to that is the fact that I'm just speaking on the behalf of myself and my peer group. I don't think that individuals know what it means to be a British Columbian hip hop artist. I feel like everybody wants to. Because Toronto is huge now. It's been huge for the last half decade. And I hear a lot of artists integrating Toronto slang into their lyrics,
I hate that shit.
which is very confusing because they've never been to Toronto, let alone do they even know where Toronto is on the map. It's really I feel like Vancouverites need to start making more authentic and genuine music because and then that's when the good music will come. You do know what I mean? Because if it's relatable to other Vancouverites and not relatable to someone that lives in Toronto, it'll just be good music will flourish. But that's a whole nother issue. That's
well, I mean,
who knows when we'll get there.
Well, we're on the West Coast, right? And I think for the most part, Vancouver hip hop has always been associated with West Coast hip hop. Growing up, all the artists that I knew that were local were all West Coast, but they actually lived the life. They had lowriders. That was a lifestyle that they lived. That's the shit that they rapped about. But I don't think that a Vancouver audience that buys music is buying West Coast hip hop from Vancouver artists. They're buying West Coast hip hop from Ice Cube, Mac 10, Dub C, J.O. Felony. They're getting West Coast hip hop.
Yeah.
I think what I've seen, the artists that do it well, I find that what they've done is managed to take kind of all influences of hip hop, a little bit of South, a little bit of North, a little bit of East, a little bit of West, and create a sound that's them without trying to be all of the different coasts, right? Like, we had Junk on the On Point podcast. I think he does it really well. He spits new school flows, a lot of double time and things like that over some boom bap beats that have some melodies that kind of keep it old school. He kind of has a good blend, and I think that's what Van City is overall. We used to be a big battle city, right? When I was growing up, and we used to have MC battles at the club nights. So like a bumping club night, promoter would take like an hour out of the club night and let MCs do battles in the middle of a club. So you get exposed to a shitload of people, right? But you can also fall on your face real quick if you don't come prepared. So that's how we started rapping before we ever picked up a pen and wrote bars down, right? With battling and freestyling and being prepared to like put it all out there and fall on your face. But I've been doing shows and seeing shows forever, and the things that people are allowed to get away with, I think that's the most embarrassing part. Like, dude pulls out his phone on stage.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
With the mic in his hand and reading off the fucking phone. To make sure he's got the lyrics down. Like,
that's craziness.
Come on. We have to expect so much more from people that we call artists.
Yeah, I have to agree about that. I feel like the expectations have been slowly decreased to the point where if you can even get a venue, that's celebrated.
That's the way.
Simply getting a venue and showing up and performing your full set is deemed a good performance. It's really unfortunate. I mean, I can only imagine what you guys have been going through. Like, you guys have seen this. Like, this is just what it is now. So me growing up, like, I didn't know anything else besides that. You know what I mean? But I've seen some exceptional performances. But whenever I would support my friends or their friends, it was always that. It was always going up and just being louder than the track. So you are being heard, yes. but you're not on beat and you're not enunciating properly, and you don't know when to fall in and fall out. It would be hard to watch from someone that appreciates live performances, and it's just been diminished. Yeah, the whole writing down nowadays, it's no, people usually just like prefer to freestyle. They'll go in the studio and they'll just, okay, I have a theme, but I don't know what I want to say. I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna say whatever I want, and then we're gonna track it. It's and I don't know if that's really good. That's not good in terms of organization.
Well, I mean,
no good. You're not Jay-Z. You're not Jay-Z.
But I think it's like professional sports.
Yeah.
You know, we never saw somebody jump over somebody back in the day, right? Remember when you never saw anybody jump over? But Emerson Marshall, if he watches sports, I don't know, do you watch sports?
Only FIFA. My sports is so limited.
Okay, so even FIFA, the moves that they do now compared to the Pele days, it's so crazy. And the way they kick the ball and the way they can curve and bend it in the top corner, like that's all technology. We've evolved, and you know, I think that's what happens with everything, is it just evolves.
Yeah, I just think that now we've come to a point like there's a lot of talent in the city, and there's a lot of fractures, and I don't understand how there can be fractures in a city where no one's popping. You know, like if everybody had a movement, everybody had a audience and a fan base, then okay, yeah, have some beefs and stuff, and you know, people actually care. But people are having beefs and publicizing beefs. No one, you don't have a fan base.
The problem is that we're a mixed culture in Vancouver, and there's two reasons. One, we're a mixed culture in Vancouver. No one is allowed to embrace their own culture here. You have to embrace kind of a hybrid of cultures when you live in Vancouver, right? And so that doesn't create a real identity. So what do you rap about, really? You rap about being this colored guy that grew up with all white people and some other Filipino guys, and like it doesn't relate to the rest of the world in a weird way, right? And two, rap came from suffering originally. It came from
out of
oppression.
Yeah,
it came out of the way to like, fucking, we're gonna dig, man, we're gonna sing our way out and rap our way out. Like, so that's gone. That doesn't exist in Vancouver. People aren't coming from extreme poverty and suffering to rap. They're coming from a good life.
But as a global citizen, right? Like as a global citizen, knowing that the world is a fucked up place, there's always shit to talk about. Like my struggle is, compared to what people actually have lived in life, is not a struggle. I haven't struggled. I had both parents growing up. Not the greatest upbringing, but I mean, it's relative, right? Pain is relative. So when you are a global citizen and you look at shit that's happening in the world, in my raps, I rap about shit that's happening in Palestine and what's happening in China. Wherever there's oppressed people, I think hip hop has always made it a point to speak for oppressed people and speak against oppression and tyranny and you know, making sure that people on the other side of the world understood that there was a voice for them somewhere, right? And I think hip hop's always been huge like that. So the idea that, you know, you can't come from privilege and speak on and make hip hop interesting and entertaining, I'm not having that.
Dude, the artists make it that way. It isn't the producers, it's the artists that do. The artists have a guard that says, who are you? Where are you from? No, we can't put you on. It's straight up. That's it, right? They see money or they see nothing.
I agree, but you know what's so interesting? I feel like if they approached creating music about their own personal struggle in a poetic way, that would make it sound good. But artists are so focused on sounding like other artists and mimicking other artists that it gets lost. Like their message gets lost because now all I'm hearing is 5 other rappers and not you. And that's hard. But what you had just said about the about artists kind of guarding struggles, I guess, and different topics, that I've personally seen that a few times. I also feel like people don't exactly know what struggles over here. I think people I don't so I don't
that's
I don't mean
right.
to make this I don't mean to demean people's person, but
Situation.
this
Yeah.
British Columbia is a very, especially the Lower Mainland in particular, it's very welcoming. It's very it's
Fluent.
very opportunistic.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's mixed culture, so everyone has a voice over here, and if you don't have a voice, then it's very easy to find someone to represent you. I mean, other than if you're Latino, it's kind of hard because the Latin population over here is very small.
And
But other than
underrepresented for sure.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, 100%, yes. But other than that, it's like the United Nations over here, and it has been for decades. Uh, I just don't. I mean, the north side of Surrey clearly needs help. And I'm saying that just from living here for a while now. But other than that, there aren't a lot of areas that are underprivileged over here.
Yeah.
And then when I hear things like, I got it from out the mud from a Coquitlam artist. Coquitlam. I'm like,
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Coquitlam is nice.
Really nice.
But you guys are with the Coyotes, and I'm sorry. I know you guys are in Port
And the
Coquitlam,
Bears.
but you guys are hanging out with Coyotes and Bears, and
For real.
but,
Well, it's interesting what you said about about artists mimicking, right? Mimicking, and you got 5 artists that all sound the same. Because I think every artist, when they first start on whatever their path is to being a creative, I think you learn how to be a creative by mimicking people that you really enjoy watching, and people that you enjoy hearing. It's funny, we talked about this last week about how the very first time I realized that I could rap was when I rapped the Twistaverse just as fast as he did, hit every point, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I could write some shit myself. But I really went through the process of figuring out what I would sound like first, rather than just saying, hey, I could rap what Drake raps, and because I can rap what Drake raps, now I'm gonna rap. If your only reference is that sound, then you're always gonna be that sound. And I think right now it's so drowning the same sounds out of every coast. It's obviously there's exceptions. Obviously there's some great fucking rappers out there. So
yeah,
who do you like right now? Who do you listen to right now? Who you bumping?
Are we talking like local or just in general?
In general, but current.
Current?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going through this phase where I'm going back to like my bands. So there's a band from England called the 1975.
Yes.
Phenomenal band.
Phenomenal band.
Okay.
Are you familiar with them?
Yes, I was born in 1975 as well, so I started listening to them.
Damn.
Then go my age, ladies.
Okay. Wait, do you actually listen to the 1975 though?
Yeah, they had that, and they had a couple really good songs. I'm a DJ, so they had a lot of remix songs, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
so that's how I got to listening to them.
Interesting.
Okay, well, I'm glad. No, they're one of the, in my opinion, they're one of the best bands of the decade because they came out in like 2011. So
what kind of music?
One of the best bands. I really like Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs is phenomenal. Freddie Gibbs is nuts.
Dude, he's so hood, man. He is so hood.
Dude, he is.
He shot a crackhead 8 times. Like what?
He did?
He said he shot a crackhead 8 times.
Oh, you know. Yeah, that was. Dude, he's also very what's the word for it? He's unforgiving when he speaks. Like he says something and you might think it's like a little too much, but he doesn't
give a fuck.
He sticks with it.
I heard him.
He doesn't.
He was in the Joe Rogan podcast, man, and he was talking about like smacking a bitch and like pulling a hair and shit. I'm like, what? And Joe is just laughing. Yeah. He's ass out laughing, but like, you're not worried about people. He gets canceled every other week. He doesn't give a shit.
But some people can.
Oh no, you can't cancel Freddie Gibbs because Freddie Gibbs is, he's a grown man and he's established, right? And he's also extremely talented. So Freddie Gibbs is one of my favorite current artists right now. I'm really into Canadian R&B. I feel like Canadians do dark, broody R&B the best. Like they may feel like, yeah, like Daniel Caesar, anyone with the Weeknd's record label,
Okay.
anyone that's involved with Drake's collective,
Right.
and also just other artists from Quebec. Like they do alternative R&B, and you can't mimic it. Like I've seen Bryson Tiller and Black were probably the only American artists that could do that. But I like
what
them
about
as well.
Frank? What about
Black
Frank
is
Ocean?
Oh yeah, I don't feel like he does the broody stuff though. Like he's more like indie, in my opinion. He's like kind of like indie R&B, but like though I'm talking about like the Weeknd R&B, like dark shit. I'm just gonna go through. I'm just gonna spend a few seconds going through my Spotify. I have to do it all the time when I'm asked.
Let's do this.
When I'm asked this.
Well,
I mean,
I think the songs that you have
love
say
Wiz
a little
Khalifa.
about you, right?
I think everyone likes Wiz Khalifa.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
I think everyone likes Wiz Khalifa. Anyone that likes to smoke weed likes Wiz Khalifa. Like
Wiz is one of those dudes though. Like he makes party music, but he's got bars. Wiz can spit.
He is associated with Burb.
He can
rap. Yeah, very
oh, that's dope.
Yes. How dope is that?
It's dope.
Yes, it could be dope.
Yeah, I like the idea that you can be like a party, kind of like a fun mainstream rapper and still spit. I love that shit, man. I love when artists.
Yeah. And he's MMA and he trains. Like he knew
he's a Muay Thai fighter, yo.
He knew he was skinny and he was like, I'm not listening to that shit on social media anymore. And I'm gonna start learning how to kick some ass.
Dude, he's good, man.
Right?
He's
and
good.
That's
it.
Motivated
he's
him.
got some skills, man. He can throw some hands. He's got
Bro,
some
let me
kicks.
ask you something. Growing up as a brother in Surrey, did you experience racism in your life? Right. And was it a contributing factor to where you're going right now in your life?
Yeah, it did. Unfortunately, I received racism from other ethnic communities. And never really Caucasian people, which is, but it's, it is what it is when you're the minority. I feel like Black people are the minority in BC, period. It just, and that's geographically speaking. I mean, if you're from the Caribbean, you're not going to go to BC. You're going to go to Quebec and Ontario because it's closer. I get it. I understand.
Right.
But, and also in Africa as well. But you are the minority. A lot of people from the South Asian and Eastern community, they like to abuse certain racial slurs and they don't like to pay homage. They don't like to pay homage.
Man.
They don't like to understand where it came from, and they think that we are cool with it because we have to be cool.
Hate that shit, yo.
Like, who am I gonna look to?
It's so funny how you. It's so funny how you say this because hold on, we gotta. What me and one of my homies who's an MC as well. We're both Indian, right? And we both rap, and we've been rapping for decades. And I can say, in all the time that I've rapped in my life so far, I've never once used the N-word at all in any of my raps. I don't use it when I talk, so why would I use it when I rap? And every time I see it, man, every time I see a brown dude that raps, a white dude that raps, Asian dude, and they use the N-word, I have to call them out. I have to say something because the shit makes me sick, man. And the thing is, like, for me growing up, like probably the most radical thing that happened to me in my life was experiencing Malcolm X when I was like 15 years old. Changed my perspective on racism and oppression and how you can control a minority group, right? So my experience is based on that thinking. And Malcolm was radical as fuck. Yeah. He didn't give a fuck. So when I see it, man, dude, I don't get where it comes from. I feel like these guys believe that I'm a hip hop fan, so like I can own that. But nah, man.
What did your dad say to you when you told him you were experiencing that?
Oh, my dad, he's like, how do I say this? He's like, I guess I am like him in the sense that there are bigger battles to be fought. So just don't let it get to you. Focus on living a healthy, like mentally healthy, physically healthy, emotionally healthy life. It's not a big deal, because at the end of the day, like it's gonna die off. But
well, see, here's the thing: it shouldn't be your responsibility, right? It shouldn't be your responsibility to correct shitty people's behavior. The way that I see it, like being someone like, and we said this multiple times, we're guests in hip hop. We create it, we contribute to it, we love it. We have adopted it as our culture, but we're guests in the house of hip hop. And every single time I see other artists that, don't feel this way, it's because they don't really have an education in the growth and the culture of what it really is. I mean, if you can't quote Grandmaster Flash saying broken glass everywhere, people business just don't care. If that's not one of your reference lines to like the inception of hip hop, then you're really gonna have a really poor fucking understanding of what it all means, man. Because there's been a lot of garbage in hip hop over the years too, right?
Lots, yeah.
Yeah, it's it's nowadays everything is so it's like a what's it called? It's like a it's a big pot and everyone's kind of just mixed in together. So words and ideologies aren't supposed to hurt because it's all for fun and we're all one people, and it sounds good on paper, but it doesn't hit the same when it's in a real life situation.
We're not there yet.
I just feel bad. I just feel bad for other Black Canadians that have to deal with that, because there's not a lot of Black people in Canada, period.
Yeah.
Let alone in provinces like Manitoba and Saskatchewan and British Columbia. So when you deal with suburban individuals from all different ethnic backgrounds, trying to be like you, but not wanting to associate with people that look like you, it's insulting and it's offensive, and it doesn't really get you anywhere. I just don't really understand
if that's Canadian,
but
it's a North American phenomenon.
Well, I wonder if that's predominantly a Canadian factor, though, because it seems to me Canadian neighborhoods all over are that way, exactly that way. Like, it seems like Vancouver especially, or British Columbia especially, is weirdo kind of separatists kind of place. It's
Black people and Indigenous people in North America, period, have been subjugated for everything. But I think the experience in Canada is a little bit different, because every other ethnic group that has migrated over to Canada has had a relatively, I don't want to say headache-free experience, but a kind of a more pleasant experience compared to most minority groups. Indians have come here, been able to build their own cities and towns.
Pretty easily.
Asians have come here, been able to build their own cities and towns. Koreans, Italians,
easy.
All of
everybody
has been a free pass. But the Black and Indigenous communities have been marginalized, even down to like small detail like Hogan's Alley. When they made sure that
it's a cultural, it's a here's the thing, it's a cultural misunderstanding. They don't understand Black culture. They don't understand Indigenous culture. They think it's Black culture is all showy and it's all this shit that we see on TV and on YouTube. And they think Indigenous is all just cars piled up on your front lawn and tires and, sadness like that, like, right? The apathy,
misery.
So that's why we say we, because we're all part of this. It's always rejected, man. It's always rejected for some reason.
What's the fix? What's the fix? How do we fix it?
Oh, my apologies. Sorry, I was just going to say that's an amazing point. Introductions to Asian culture, specifically Chinese culture, is the Richmond night market. Great, right? Family oriented, amazing. Introduction to Punjabi culture is Vaisakhi. Introduction to Persian culture or Middle Eastern culture is hookah lounges.
For sure.
Introduction to Black culture is
what
gang stuff, Young Thugs and Jay-Z and 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. Introduction to Black American culture, Black Canadian culture, is some dude in his Beamer driving down the street blasting Tupac,
horrible,
being a nuisance. So like, what are we supposed to? How are we supposed to work with that? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sound jaded, because
it's true though. We speak
Canada
the truth here on high first.
I believe Canada is one of the greatest countries. But I apologize. Sorry, my connection was lagging, so I was speaking over you. My apologies.
That's okay, buddy. You don't have to say sorry ever. It's so Canadian. We're so Canadian, dropping sorries everywhere.
Yeah, no, we're jaded. We're not polite. We don't give a fuck.
No,
give a fuck. Okay. So like, we always talk about this.
I was
Yeah, we talk about this polite racism.
Oh no, sorry,
right? Yeah, no, we have this polite racism conversation.
Oh yeah.
Canadians are polite racist, but there's nothing polite about Canadian racists.
No,
They're
dude.
rude as fuck, man. Like
It's pretty bad.
you chase out, your most talented, like the Montreal Canadiens when they had
Mhm.
PK Subban.
Mhm.
You chase him out because your fans are racist
Yeah.
and calling them the N-word in every game,
Mhm.
and he leaves because of that shit. There's nothing polite about Canadian racists, and I think a big problem is that a lot of people that are in ethnic groups that are doing fine don't give a fuck. Like there's tons of Indian people that I know, tons of Fijian people that I know that are in this country doing great, have paid off big homes, have small businesses that do well, financially don't have to worry about anything. And they don't give a fuck about other people that are struggling. Not all, but a big portion of them don't really care that other ethnic groups are struggling or suffering or going through shit. Like the indigenous struggle just doesn't mean anything to them because they weren't educated here.
Yeah, it's true.
So they never even understood the residential school things. In their minds, all brown people are oppressed. Even if you're doing well, you're still oppressed, right? But they don't really care about the broader struggle. So there's no real financial backing to promote the struggles of Black and Indigenous people in Canada for sure. And there's no representation that you can say is a distinctly Canadian Black personality or Canadian Indigenous personality outside of a handful of people that are either athletes or entertainers.
Well, see, that's the fuck. Now I'm going to let him answer, but because of the Black oppression in the States and the slavery, they gave you popular culture, right? They gave Black people popular culture and sports, right? Said, here, it's yours. And in Canada, we just gave them, $3 billion. We just gave money. Until they make movies about the residential schools, we will never see Indigenous people respected.
There's got to be one of those big ones.
I highly agree with that. It's interesting. Back to your point about how you said that immigrants, rightfully so, understandably, aren't educated on the native indigenous the indigenous people of this land. This is still their country.
Yeah,
it will always be their country. It'll always be their continent, obviously.
Yeah,
but when you come over here to better your life and to better your family's life, that is not your goal. Your goal is to not understand your neighbor's struggles. Your goal is to succeed and to thrive and to flourish. So I understand that, but once you flourish and once you gain success, now let's inform each other. Now let's because you haven't left, you're still here, and we're still all here. So we have to educate each other on all of our issues, because we all vote together, we all shop together, we all pay taxes together. We're all one community. So but why are we segregating ourselves, and why are we kind of looking down and looking away from each other? It's a big thing across the country.
There's a huge Black history in Africa that's not in Canada that's not spoken of. There's a huge trailblazing history that starts in Nova Scotia and travels across Canada. That's not really spoken. I didn't learn about it in any history book that I ever remember reading. My kids didn't learn about it when they were in elementary school or high school. It's not even mentioned that there was a Black community in Canada. Outside of the Indigenous people and the white people. It's like everything else is just a blur. So if we can't even have that part of the education shown, fuck, we're behind, we're hella behind in this.
Yeah. Well, I think also the farther we get away from those days, the more history changes. Right. And we have to adapt generations, because like this gentleman here, he's 20 something years old. And, politics of the 70s and 60s are a little whatever for him, right? But politics of the 80s and 90s are realistic history for him. It goes back that far. And that's so far. Like, how far do you think we need to continue to go back? Does the time right now with the Black Lives Matters and everything that's happening with all the shootings in the States, does that set a new timeline for the future? That now we're going to start talking about George Floyd and all of these things that happen as our new base for the future, whatever.
What's so funny? You talk to Black Americans and they don't care, because this has been happening for decades. Obviously, like, you're not informing us of something new. This has been happening for decades, and you see it coming on the streets of New York sometimes. Like, you see it coming, and when it happens, you're shocked, but then you still saw it coming. And then you bring all this information to suburban communities and to communities globally, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. No way. But it's been happening since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s.
Yeah.
It's been happening for decades and decades and decades. So, it's to answer your question, it will be new for people like me and people slightly younger, slightly older. But for people that, for my father and for my grandparents, people of that age, this is just a reiteration of what happened 50 years ago, except now it was caught on camera.
Yeah,
Because before it wasn't.
That's what it'll take
There were no
over.
cell phones and smartphones.
Yeah, well, and then
Yep.
people got to stop saying, I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know it was that bad. Like, Amadou Diallo shootings coming up on almost 20 plus years now. Amadou Diallo being shot in New York, shot like 24 times on his stoop because he pulled out a brown wallet and a cop thought it was a gun, and they shot him 20 plus times. They just emptied their clips into him.
Wow.
And it's been 20 plus years. You can't say I don't know anymore. I didn't know.
It's really sad.
If you're using that as your excuse, you should just say, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care about your people.
Yeah.
That should be what you say, rather than, oh, I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Because if you can just look at this past year's, just 1 year's worth of videos, you can't see videos of any other group of people that gets more beaten, abused, and maligned by law enforcement in North America than Black people. There's no wealth of videos that show Asians getting their asses kicked or Latinos getting their asses kicked or white people predominantly as much as we see for Black people. It doesn't happen with any other ethnic group. So the idea of I don't know should just be replaced with I don't give a fuck. Just speak your truth. Just speak your truth and say I don't care.
But to play devil's advocate, I will say that in their defense, there is a huge overload of information on the internet. News stories like that, they disappear so fast because something will happen 5 minutes from then, and we have to report on it. And there's so much to take in. So in their defense, it is. It makes sense, but also, in the same sentence, it's easy to find that information because you just have to Google it.
So do you think that's deliberate?
But oh no, I honestly do not. Listen, sometimes I can be naive. I don't believe that people deliberately go out of their way to ignore. I believe that there are people that deliberately go out of their way to ignore. But I feel like the people that are activists and then they don't know, or the people that don't know the situations, and they say, I can't believe I didn't know that. I think when they say that, I think for the most part that is honest. I don't think you would go out of your way to say, to put on a whole song and dance of like, oh, I can't believe, and that you actually didn't know, unless you're on TV being interviewed.
I am going to out-douche both of you. All right.
Hey, I was being a douche. Hold up.
No, I'm just going to out-douche you all. I think that the cops truly are stupid. And I truly believe, dude, that they hire any fucking buddy they can. And that's the problem, is that the cops are desperate, right? We are living in a world where there are more criminals than cops.
No, man.
Right? No, listen, white, black, Chinese, man, it doesn't matter. There's more criminals than cops, and they have to keep their numbers up, and they can't do it anymore because people know that being a cop is a shitty job.
I'm gonna sound like Professor Griff from Public Enemy right now, because majority of criminals in North America are white skinned, and you can say that's because they're the majority of the population. But the fucking fact
there's
is,
still cops chasing them.
If you want to look at numbers and say who commits the most criminal acts, but who's the least criminalized? It's white people.
Yeah, probably.
And it's been that way for a long motherfucking time. So we have to start talking about these things as they are, as opposed to how we feel about them. Because the how we feel about these topics is creating this haze that allows a lot of fuckery to just kind of pass through our what used to be bullshit detectors. I don't really think we have bullshit detectors anymore, because we're just, like you said earlier, we're constantly fed, right?
Yeah.
Like the endless videos we see of people dying. So the Makia Bryant, right? The girl in the States that had the knife and was about to stab the other girl and got shot. all I see people saying is constantly is, oh, what do you want the cop to do? He was gonna stab a girl. He was gonna, she could have killed. First of all, it was a fucking steak knife. Okay, it was a steak knife. She wasn't Rambo with a machete, right? Second of all, he saw her already try to assault somebody and didn't say anything, didn't give a warning shot, didn't say police, freeze. All of those standard tactics you think a fucking trained officer would use in the situation. Didn't try to tackle her, didn't try to tase her. His instant reflex was, let me empty out as many bullets as I can. We have to stop saying shit like he had to react. What the fuck are you trained for? Why do you go to training to act like a regular citizen would act? Now that, okay, if let's say it was a regular citizen that intervened in the situation, and that citizen saw a girl pull a knife and empty the clip, that makes sense to me. A regular citizen that's armed sees the situation, I have to react, someone's gonna get hurt, and empties the clip. Okay, cool, I get that story. But you're a police officer. You're trained to de-escalate.
Yeah, so they walk through that maze.
Yeah, you're trained to de-escalate. You're trained in hand-to-hand combat, hopefully. You're trained in understanding people's behaviors and intentions. And you tell me every single time your first instinct is to just empty your clip. That's always the first instinct. Always the only thing you think about. Only the first thing you do, you see Tamir Rice point, not even a second, not even a fucking second, they're ready to shoot a 12-year-old to death for a toy gun. And I think a big problem is we say shit like, well, it was in the heat of the moment. They reacted. Dude, they're not regular citizens. They're fucking paid and trained. What the fuck do we pay them for?
I think the American police force is not focused on saving lives, but to neutralize the threat. So they want to make sure that that person isn't going to be a problem later on. If that person is gone, then there's going to be no more steak knife incidents. Yeah. It's done. It's finished. I saved that woman by killing the other one. When they don't see the bigger picture, they could have shot her in the foot or the leg. If they're really good shots that they always say they are, like they're really good at, they're really. I highly doubt they're good shots, but if they were good shots, as they say they are, they could shoot
in the leg,
a non-fatal part of the body, and then you save two people that day instead of saving one. But that's not, I don't feel like that's what they're trained to do. I feel like they're trained to neutralize it as quickly as possible, regardless of the mess, because stuff like that is very messy.
Too many.
And also, the training isn't even that extensive over there. Man. I think it's like, is it even years? Like I think it's months at the most. Yeah. And then you're a cop. You get a badge. You get a gun.
Wow, it's crazy.
Dude, it takes 4 years to become a lawyer, which is to learn the law book. But it takes 6 months to enforce that same law book. What the fuck? They got some kind of fast forward course for cops.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just shocking to me, man.
It's crazy.
Fuck, totally off topic.
Yeah.
And I
well, we get off topic, but we can always go back to something very light.
No,
that's what we're really good at.
It was in this vein of conversation, and then
I think the problem is also, just to hit back on rap music. Rap music is a big issue. Cops listen to rap music from a lot of local rappers who talk about shooting cops and running and doing shit. So cops buy into it just as much as everybody else. And they know that these kids, when they pull up on them, what they're listening to in their cars, and they're like, holy shit, that's gangster music. These guys, who knows what we're walking in. And that's a lot of the thing that perpetuates the whole situation, man.
Fuck that. Fuck the police.
Yeah, but if you see a bunch of suburban kids dressed in polo shirts and khakis listening to 6ix9ine, then they won't react the same way.
100%.
Yeah. So I understand where we're coming from in regards to the music. But, authority figures connect the music to the people, not the people to the music. They connect the music to, if you look like a thug or if you look like a delinquent or
don't give me.
And then you're listening. But if you're listening to Carrie Underwood, he's not a threat. Not a big deal. But it's true,
it's the mentality.
If you look like, yeah, so
it sucks.
But I really believe that certain gangster rap that it's very damaging. Like I don't think that I think it's more so now where you have a lot. It's called like murder rap. That's the thing now, and they're just going on a spree of talking about who they want to kill and why they want to kill them or who they killed. I think that is, you're not helping anyone. You're just making black people look like fucking criminals. Like,
But see now,
it's annoying. It's really annoying. Like,
Yeah, it's
and
bad.
this,
I don't even think that's self-expression.
yeah,
I don't
and-
think that's expression. That's,
No.
hey, I want to get popular and I want to
Yeah.
make money.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally it. You're not expressing anyone. Like,
And they
I
wanna
don't
die
know
young.
anything.
Well, and the thing is, it's not new,
Yeah,
right?
I just
Like,
don't know what the fuck.
I think people like 3 6 Mafia was all murder rap when they first came out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, but they went mainstream.
They did after
And
they
everyone
made
forgot.
Big Bucks. Bone Thugs and Harmony's first album was called Faces of Death. They were
Mhm.
all about that murder shit.
Yeah.
Dude, Brother Lynch Hung
They
used to
couldn't
rap
survive.
about cannibalism in his
Mhm.
raps, right? But they were never mainstream. That the biggest problem is that fucked up hate rap is what became mainstream. Like
Mhm.
even when Tentacion, when
Mhm.
his music was all about suicide. So he
Yeah.
rapped about a suicide man. Like he had fucking suicide cults following him, right?
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
I think the biggest
Yep.
change in what we love about hip hop is the stuff that's popularized
Mhm.
is not the shit that's good for you. Like
Mm.
I remember when conscious hip hop was popularized, Tribe Called Quest was what was hot.
Mhm.
Tribe Called Quest is fucking great for every age group.
Mhm.
Everybody can listen to Tribe Called Quest and enjoy it, right? They're that kind of feel good hip hop.
Mm.
Groups like Farside, Black Sheep, that kind of stuff was popularized. All that shit is good for you.
Yeah.
When you start getting into the gangster stuff, then you got to make sure that the person's a certain age because you don't want a fucking 11-year-old listening to Ain't No Fun,
Yeah.
right? That's not the song for an 11-year-old, but
Wow.
when do we put some of the onus on parents, man?
Yeah.
Parents got to be a little bit responsible for this.
But you know what? Nowadays it's extremely impossible because, well, okay, I'm gonna have to backtrack. I don't know why I'm seeing 11 to 12-year-olds with iPads and phones. I think that's highly
Facts.
irresponsible.
Yep.
But the thing is, you go to your friend and say, "Hey, I'm selling my iPhone 6 for $500." Boom, done, finished. I work at McDonald's for 2 weeks. I get a new iPhone. Done, finished. Or I ask my mom for some money, allowance, save it up, get a new iPhone. The fact is, the technology is so easily accessible and so affordable that you cannot hide your kids from internet and from media. It's impossible nowadays.
Possible.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was easy, but now it's impossible because you go to your school, high school, you download music on the computers, or you just listen to music on the computers. Or you go to the library. You go to the library. You use your library card. An hour and 30 minutes of fun, and then you go and you watch all this stuff and you listen to all this stuff. It's impossible, man. You can't.
Yeah.
I can only
you can't
speak.
escape it, man.
No, you can't.
I can only speak from my experience as a parent having a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old. You can't police what they watch. You can't police what they listen to. And I tell them this all the time. I don't know. Obviously, you and your friends go watch some fucked up shit at school. I can't control that.
Yeah.
But I can, at the very least, I can influence your decision making, right? I can
Mhm.
influence the things that you think about doing.
Mhm.
So there's a little bit of trepidation. So you're kind of like, maybe my dad would think this is fucked up. So in the beginning, I just lied to them. I just told my kids all the time, I can see everything you do. I can see every keystroke. I can see every search. And for a while, you get away with it. For a while, you get away with it because they're like, oh, can he really see everything?
Yeah.
Every now and then I do like a little, someone sign into your Google account and then they'll see my email just to kind of remind them that, I have control. But eventually that shit wears out. So you just have to hope that you gave them enough good decision-making tools so that when they do,
That's sneaky.
right? You got to have some weapons, man. And that's the good thing about being this generation because we kind of came up in the technology, so we know enough about it to know what they're gonna believe.
Yeah.
Right. So now, like the cool thing now is I've seen a few times, like every time we have parties, people gather at the house and stuff. My kid's the one that's playlist plays, and when he's playing his playlist, I am always pleasantly surprised because he'll bring back some shit from the 90s. He'll go back to like some 70s, Motown R&B, and I'm like, yes. We gave him the tools to make good decision making based on what I see in his playlist because there's a lot of ugly shit out there.
Yeah.
In that age group and shit that they
That's
listen
good.
to.
That's really good.
It's kind of a disaster.
All right. So speaking of, we're gonna do a little top three with him.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go in a little top three.
Okay.
We gotta lighten this podcast up, man. We dragged your ass out of bed to just fucking get it. Do you want to be a politician by any chance?
A politician? I'm too young to answer that question. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I'm too young.
Just checking.
In the next 6 years, I want to focus on stuff that makes me happy, and then after that, I think I want to focus on stuff that makes other people happy.
Dope.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. What makes you happy?
You know what makes me happy is seeing progress. You know what I mean? Like I like
personal?
when honestly, I'm not really bothered with my own progress. I mean, yeah, I am for sure, of course. I want to see myself thrive, but I want to see the province's art scene progress because art, I've seen it firsthand. Arts gives people something to live for and something to get out of bed.
Oh yeah.
And when you take away the arts from kids, they get bored and then they get complacent and then they end up settling for something that they will end up regretting 20, 30 years from now, you know? And it's unfortunate because I don't want to see a bunch of people filled with sorrow and regret. I want to see people filled with, you know, happiness and a feeling of content when they're pursuing something creative because everyone needs a creative outlet. If that makes any sense.
100% they do.
Oh,
Anyway, sorry, I just got real.
Never say sorry.
Yeah, sorry. That was.
We're gonna make you do 25 push-ups every time you say sorry.
Okay.
Nice. All right. So here's
almost.
Okay.
yeah.
I almost said it. Okay.
All right. Here you go. Here's a top 3 for you. Okay. Ready? All
Let's
right.
do it.
Top 3. So you said that you're a soccer fan, right? Top
I like
3.
FIFA, not soccer. That's different.
Oh.
Top 3 favorite soccer players.
Oh, I can't give you players. I can't.
What can you give me? What can you give me?
Teams. I can do teams.
All right. So give me your top 3
I can't
teams.
give you.
Give me your top team.
Teams?
Give me your one team.
Okay. One team. People don't like it when I say this, but I prefer Brazil.
Brazil.
People don't like it when I say that. Yeah.
Who's Brazil's?
Do you want to know? Do you want to know why?
Why?
It's a peer pressure thing. A lot of my friends, in fact, I have a soccer group that I watch FIFA with. Like they're the same 6 people,
Jesus.
and they kind of what?
Yeah, it's a FIFA cult.
It's a FIFA cult.
Hey, you guys, if you guys want to join, you're welcome. So they indoctrinated me into watching FIFA religiously, like annually.
Oh yeah.
And I had to cheer for FIFA. I mean, sorry, for Brazil, because if I didn't, then like they had this drinking game that you would have to like take do you guys know what no, do you guys know the honey Jack Daniels? It tastes like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
It's like gold Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
But like warm. Like warm. It was garbage. So
who are these savages?
I guess it was kind of like a cult. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of made me like do it. But then I warmed up to it, and I genuinely enjoy Brazil's playing. But I don't focus on the names, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I just go to watch sports, like UFC and boxing, and I just go for the community aspect. You know, just to drink and smoke and chat and just watch someone get beat up. You know, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with that world for sure. So okay, so it seems like your music taste is a little bit more eclectic. So this is gonna take you a little bit further. If you once you go into the afterlife, you have 3 artist catalog that you can take with you to the afterlife. You get their whole catalog, any genre, 3 artists. Who you taking?
Okay, Dave Matthews Band, like 125% Dave Matthews Band. They're way too good. They're phenomenal. Like those guys are musicians.
Who's your favorite guy in the band?
They don't mess around. The drummer is nuts. No, wait. It would have to be the drummer or the clarinet player. No, wait. The drummer.
They got a clarinet player?
Dude, they have like they have like okay, hold up. Not 12, but like just underneath a dozen band members.
Wow.
They have horns, they have brass,
you listen to the
everything.
I play at the weddings. Yeah.
What would be one of their like big hit songs?
Crash.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Yeah,
that's the big one. And then
well, then again, that's because of that my parents always religiously played Dave Matthews Band in the car.
That's interesting.
So Dave Matthews Band is one.
Okay.
Second one, Oh man. Okay. Well, okay, the 1975, but I'm gonna try to do something like hip hop because I don't want to. I don't want to show like I'm some like
You'll be listening to that
whitewash.
show. You'll be like, I wish I had some
Okay, so-
beats. I could write to some. I could write
Yeah,
to.
I need some. I need some beats.
Fuck.
I need some beats. Who was I obsessed with in hip hop like when I was younger? Oh, okay. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is my
That's a pretty
Weezy.
extensive.
Wheezy.
Lil Wayne's the Carter 2.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap, dude. Like that was phenomenal. And
Pretty good.
the great thing about Lil Wayne was he had bars, but then he had banging beats. Like not just like drums and then a sample of like jazz. Like it was
top-notch
beats.
production.
It was digital. Yeah, they were really good beats. So I'm gonna say Lil. Oh man,
Dude, the idea that
Dave
he
Matthews
freestyles
Band
all his music is outrageous to me.
Well,
it's nuts.
you'll
He's
have
good. His wordplay is crazy.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Weezy,
Yeah, it's nuts. So yeah, those are my. I guess I'm really showing my age, but yeah, those are my.
That's okay.
top
You're allowed
three.
to show your age, man. That's a good thing. Work your age. You know what I mean? That's what it's all
Fair
about.
enough.
Use your youth,
Fair
right?
enough.
Use your youth.
Hey, you know who I really like though? Who you guys might know? David Banner is one of my favorite rappers.
Oh, nice.
You guys
David
know
Banner's
David
dope.
Banner,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure,
Yeah,
man.
Oh, dude,
Banner's
and he
beats.
makes his own beats.
Yeah.
And
he
he makes
does,
his own beats.
He's a very smart dude too.
Like that's some really good. Yeah,
Wow.
that's some really good Southern rap. You know, when I grew up, it was all about the South. Like the South, they had really good like
Yeah.
they
Outcast
made
was
you
leading
like
the charge.
So you came up in
believe
that,
what they were saying.
that Little John, the Little
Mhm.
John era, Yin Yang Twins and all that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like Lil Jon. I like Young Jock. I like David Banner. I like Young Jeezy. Now it's Jeezy, but Young Jeezy was
Used to be young.
nuts.
Yeah.
Young Jeezy was my favorite rapper. Ludacris was my favorite rapper.
Luda's dope.
Also I know he's from Jersey, but Akon was great. Akon
I miss
was a really
Akon,
good
man.
singer. Like, I
Akon's
feel
making
like-
a city, yo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He ain't got time for music.
He's just balling in Africa.
but Akon's
Loved
Akon's a
Akon.
really good singer though, and Wyclef Jean is awesome too.
Oh, Wyclef's dope.
Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
cool.
Wyclef Jean was dope. Anyways, those are my top three. Yeah. So
So
yeah.
David Banner's your
You
third?
got another top three?
Did you say David Banner's your third?
I'm gonna remove Lil Wayne for David Banner because David Banner
Oh
had
shit.
the best. He had skits. I feel like he
Yeah.
introduced. Okay, I could be wrong, but I feel like he pioneered skits. Like he would get other artists to come in and to lay down some just.
Oh, you missed the
story,
Death Row
and he
era
made
then.
the
Oh
beat.
yeah.
You missed that Death Row era.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
he
showing
says
my
that.
age. What can I
No,
say?
man. Listen to Snoop
Oh,
Dogg's first
25
album.
Problems.
Snoop Dogg's first album,
Yeah.
Doggy Style. I think it is like the benchmark
Oh,
for
yeah.
what great hip hop. He had skits. Oh, dude, some of the best
Oh yeah.
stand-up comics came and did skits on his album.
It's amazing.
Have you heard Doggy Style?
Yeah, you know what's so funny? My dad would only let me listen to the clean version, so
That's-
I never
wow.
heard the explicit version.
You are missing
Yeah, you know what he
out.
always said? My dad said that he loved Snoop Dogg, but he
Yeah.
couldn't handle the amount of times it would cut because
Oh,
it would get
right.
muted because he would listen to the
Oh.
clean.
It would ruin the
so
song.
he said that like the beats.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it totally. When I was old enough to actually
Yeah,
listen
but
to
it
like
is-
explicit music, I was like, oh, so that's what they were saying. Oh, and also Ti was one of my favorite rappers too. Ti was nuts.
Self-proclaimed king of the South.
Yeah. Just don't
Yeah.
don't go drinking at his house.
Oh shit.
Right? Don't be like hey there, Shanae. If T.I. rolls up to you, hey there, Shanae. Just for that awkward
T.I.
pause, right?
And his
Just
wife
like
too. And his wife too. They both fucking
have a drink, Holmes.
hell no.
Have a drink there,
I
player.
T.I. thought it was- Nope.
Have a drink there,
If
player.
we ever meet, we're not drinking at his house. We're not smoking at his house.
Jesus.
We will bring our own greens.
Nope.
Man, fuckery, yo.
You know what? I actually final offer. I'm removing David Banner for Kanye West. Final offer.
Oh man, you're a real like he's savage, eh?
Kanye West.
This would be you at
From
the pearly
2004
gates of nowhere. You'll be like, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm gonna take cover. No, wait a minute, sir. We need you to come now.
Oh,
No, I'm
final
no.
offer.
Kanye.
Final offer.
Yeah.
I gotta say, out of,
Because from
out of every
2004 to 2008,
Mhm.
genius,
best,
genius.
Yeah.
best
I
music.
agree.
Best music.
You introduced two new people to this. We ask this top three question to people all the time, and it kind of gives me some perspective on where their head is at. No one's ever said Dave Matthews Band. You're
No.
the first.
Never.
No one's ever said Tunchi. That's the first.
Mhm.
We had someone else say
Yeah.
Kanye. We had someone else
Yeah,
say Kanye. And no one else has said David Banner. So you
Mhm.
introduced a lot of new ones to
Yeah,
the
you
top
did.
3 list
Yeah,
for
you
us.
really- It's really good.
David
Very-
Band. Yeah.
Interesting.
Frozen.
Yeah, those rappers, I would get CDs from the library. I would rent them out for
Oh,
like a week,
shit.
and I would just listen to
Crazy,
them. And
they're
they
in
were
the
so
library?
good. The beats,
You're ahead.
the
I'm
flows,
sold.
nuts. Yeah, they were at the Surrey Central Library. I would just go there and I'd get the,
Mike used to hang
I would
out
rent
in the
them
parking
out, and they wouldn't say anything. Like it's if you have a library card, you can rent
Take
it
it.
out, right? So
Amazing. Yeah.
So what are you working on right now as far as
With my
your show goes? What are you working on right now?
So I'm just like last summer, I'm focusing on hosting events. So I'm working closely with this group called the Ice Cream Truck Collective, and they're a group of musicians that perform just original songs and covers too. It's
Right.
R&B and blues and funk stuff, right? So it's
Oh, nice.
Dope.
real groove based music, and that's coming in the summer. They start up in the summer. So the next event is May the 15th at Grandview Park.
Mhm.
It's great. It's going to be awesome. And then the next thing I'm
Outdoor
doing
event?
Outdoor event.
it's strictly outdoor,
That's dope.
just because of COVID, right?
Mhm.
And then obviously we promote like social distancing and masks, and we provide hand sanitizer as well, so that'll
Awesome.
be great. But yeah, and then also I'm going to be hosting an event on the 21st of May. It's for a collective called Seven Studios, and it's a bunch of young artists from different backgrounds, and they're going to be performing, and then I'm just going to be doing like a little round table interview portion, and I'm going to be interviewing them just about what it's like to grow up as a young artist in BC with
Right.
like exactly what you said about the mixed culture and whatnot.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's happening, and then just regular radio stuff. This, interviewing people every week and writing articles for the publisher that I write for, and that's it,
Is-
man. Just continuing to highlight music, and that's it.
Who are you waiting for?
It's called Rhythm Changes. So it's a West Coast Canadian music-based publisher, and the guy operates out of New Westminster, uptown New Westminster.
Okay.
That's his office, and yeah, and he's a musician as well. He's a jazz musician, so it's interesting. I bring him all these hip hop artists, and then he loves reading it because he doesn't know much about hip hop and R&B. But yeah,
That's dope.
so it's cool.
And
Yeah.
where do you do your show? Where can people hear your show?
That is Vancouver Co-op Radio 100.5 FM, and the name of the show is Canadian Content. So
Dope.
that's Thursday mornings from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And if you miss it, you can go on the website, go to the archives, and then just like click and then listen. So you can download it too if
Awesome.
you want. But yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
And where can people find you on social media?
People can find me. So the moniker is at Emerson Etre. So EMERSONETTORE on Instagram. My SoundCloud is Emerson Marshal, and yeah, that's about it. Those are my social media.
So you make music as well?
No, sorry, that's where I put my radio shows if they miss them.
Right. Okay.
And I
So-
also produce I produce audio commercials for the radio station, so I put those up
Oh,
as a
that's cool.
portfolio if I want to hand it to people. And yeah. So it's just stuff like that, you know. It's a portfolio.
I
It's
see
a
some
digital
radio,
portfolio.
mogul tycoon
Yeah.
type things popping off.
Yeah.
You
it's
kind of
dope.
have your hands in all of it.
I would hope so. Listen, I'm currently still studying journalism, so I would love to get into that. I love music journalism, so that's my thing.
You'll
and
do
I
it.
want
I
to
can
do that
sense it.
full time for sure.
You got
Thank you.
this.
I appreciate
You got
that.
this. That's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, I can sense.
for
Okay,
sure.
but I got to ask you two important questions.
Yes.
One, what's your favorite conspiracy?
Oh, dude. Okay, wait. Let's define a conspiracy. Okay, a conspiracy, does it have to be proved or not?
No, it just has to be something you believe is like something that we're not talking about and we should be, or that's a conspiracy,
Oh,
right? What's your
my favorite
one of them?
conspiracy.
Yeah.
My favorite okay, so I'm vegan. So my favorite conspiracy is that people think that meat and dairy are a part of the food pyramid. It should not be part of the food pyramid. It's not. Listen,
we get so
hold
many
up, guys,
vegans.
hold up.
And Mike's vegan too.
Guys, hold up.
Shame.
Are you vegan too?
Yes,
He is,
sir.
yeah.
Yeah.
But who's the vegan?
I am.
See, okay, listen.
Yeah.
Meats, you should not be consuming. Okay, what do oxes and cows eat? Plants,
Grass.
right?
Yeah.
They're fucking huge and they
Yeah.
eat plants. They don't eat other cows and oxes. So why are humans that are half the size of elephants and all these big animals consuming meat? I don't get it. I never understood it. Same with cheese.
I'm bear.
Like milk is for baby milk. No, I'm just
I'm a
milk
bear,
is for
man.
baby
I'm a fucking
cows,
bear.
not for humans.
I'm not a cow.
Okay, that's my greatest.
Okay, so I'll tell
That
you
is my
why.
conspiracy.
I'll tell you why right now, brother, because you feel like you're a very, like, as the kids say, a woke person, right? And you know, my friend here beside me still eats meat, and it's just a matter of time before everyone in the world is not eating meat. So it's just a matter of time.
I agree.
A matter of years.
I'm slowly weaning off,
which feeds into my conspiracy that I will piggyback onto your conspiracy, because I'm a man full of conspiracies.
Yes.
Which I believe that in the early days of meat processing and meat and eating meat, those hormones in animals were necessary for brain growth in apes and in in fucking and in the the pre whatever man, right? Like the caveman. So the more meat we ate, the more our brains grew, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then as we got into this next level of control and wanting to build great big soldiers in the early wars and the early world wars, we started feeding them meat in packages, meat with chemicals in them, meat with drugs, meat with antibodies. They realized how big and strong these soldiers got. And they're like, holy fuck. We need to start feeding this to our general public, because our general public was going through a famine at the time. This great famine going all over the world in the early 20th century, right? And so we're like, we're going to feed all this hormones and shit in the meat, right? And then get people really consuming meat at a large rate. And then they found out, oh my God, people love meat. And now we have to find new ways of really making new ways of selling meat, because we need people to buy more meat. So we make hot dogs and we make fucking little chicken nuggets and we make all these little meat products that are all so cute, right? And now this is the good one, dude. This is a good one. This is the fucking kicker right here. Listen, I'll let you comment on this because this is important for you to know, young man.
Yes, please.
All right. So now what they're doing is realizing that there's so many people out there not willing to eat the chemicals in meat. Because we're like, fuck meat. Oh, save the fucking animals, save the ocean, all this stuff, which I believe is true. But also they see now, okay, now we can start transferring the chemicals that we need to fucking implant into our humans. We need to start putting it into the vegan products. Because the only way we're going to get these cocksuckers is if we start fucking making, Thai chicken lemongrass fake ass chicken that I ate for dinner tonight. That was amazing. And if it's full of chemicals, fill me up.
Vegans love the taste of meat too. Every fucking vegan food is Impossible Burger, just like meat, tastes like meat.
That Whopper is fucking amazing.
Near meat, almost meat.
Oh, dude, I had that 2 days ago. It was awesome.
Right? And so, like,
vegan power.
I get it. There's a part of us that's very primal that enjoys the taste of meat.
I love the smell of steak.
Whether you were vegan or whether you're omnivore or whatever the fuck you are, there's something about that taste of meat that the human brain fucking enjoys. Why do you barbecue cauliflower? Well, fucking barbecues cauliflower. You want the feeling.
Hey, I weirdly enjoy the smell of the toilet after I take a bowel movement. I weirdly enjoy that. I'm like, you know what? I made that. I fucking made that. You don't get all grossed up, but if someone else rolls in, you're like, oh, fuck. Oh! But you enjoy it. And just let me tell you something.
Listen.
Mimi, when you're a vegan, you don't have stinky number twos. It's all fucking diamonds and pearls, baby. Diamonds and pearls.
I will say, like during the transition, yes, but after, no.
Oh, so you
But you know what though?
You made a conscious choice to become vegan, or?
Oh, it took a while. I used to be like those people that said, "Oh, it's too expensive to go vegan. Yeah. Oh, it's not convenient." Yeah. But you can. It's actually.
Oh, it's cheaper.
It's actually cheaper. More expensive to buy meat.
Oh, for sure.
It's cheaper to buy meat, but it's more expensive because you need more meat to feel full.
Yeah.
And then you feel like shit after. You feel like when I used to eat meat, I would need to sit on the couch after. That makes no sense. You should feel full after you eat. You should feel like I can go work an 8-hour shift. Why do I feel like, oh man, I got them? What are meat? What the hell is a meat
the
sweat?
worst.
What is that? Dude, what the
I don't
hell,
know what that
dude?
is.
Like,
A meat sweat?
I just don't get it, man.
Beefy.
And then
Red
the
meat.
minute I went vegan, no, I'm telling you, man. Like, but listen, I understand why people eat meat because it's years and years and years of people telling you that, hey, you need to eat like a man, eat steak. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, hey, eat like a man, eat steak, eat hungry man. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
But through education, people will understand that you're not going to live long if you eat meat 3 times a day. Like, you're going to die I'm sorry to say this, but you're going to die very young, and you're going to pay more in hospital bills and prescription pills than you will if you didn't do that.
And you're going to die a shitty death.
55, like, oh, yeah. You see all these people at 55, oh, my knee, oh, my back. You're 55, dude. You're so young. Why does your back hurt? Maybe because you're not stretching and you're not exercising, but also because you're eating meat 3 times a day. You're eating dairy 3 times a day. Like, you need to listen, man. You want to live to 100? Then you have to take it seriously. That's all
I'm living to 120.
So, you think you can live that long?
Yeah.
That's
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think. And this is what I'm saying, my friend. You're obviously in very good shape. You're in good shape. You have muscle, and you're a vegan, right?
Yeah.
So then it's like people think that vegans are all like lipstick. No, it's like.
Yeah, bro.
Listen,
my MMA coach is vegan, and he's vegan. He's a bad motherfucker, man.
Yeah, you don't want to.
He's one of the baddest men in my life.
Challenge him on
it. Yeah. But I'm out of that mentality.
I'm not shaming people who eat meat. I just
shame them.
I heavily implore you to wean off slowly and surely. Cut out the red meat, and then eventually cut out the meat, and then eventually cut out the dairy. And then you'll find that there are so many good plant-based options. I had a plant-based burger like for lunch, and it was delicious. It tasted just,
I agree, man.
Just like meat.
I'm almost there. I cut out the red meat.
Yeah, you're good.
There's no dairy.
It's just your own health.
We got chicken and fish, but for the most part, it's just.
It's not like I'm trying to convince you to go to an iPhone from an Android.
That would never happen. I would go vegan faster than I would go to iPhone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
I love Apple.
No,
that's a whole other conversation.
That's a
whole other conspiracy.
Yeah,
all right, here's the second question I got for you. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you sitting down, or are you just really short?
I am ready.
Okay.
I'm up. I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
What happens after you die?
Oh shit!
What happens after you die?
It's a big one.
Okay, so I don't believe, but sometimes I believe that the soul is different from the body. You know what I mean? Like, the body is the physical, but I feel like the soul, I don't want to use the word transcends because there's negative connotations to that. I feel like the soul just goes somewhere else, and then it's not really a conscious state. It's just
just
gone.
It's just gone.
Because it's just gone. But
it's just gone. Like, it just goes. It just kind of leaves the body.
I feel like the soul. Hey,
it's caught in a tree.
Like the soul contributes to. I don't know. Listen, I feel like the soul contributes to something, but when you're dead, I don't feel like you just die and then life is done.
So
life continues.
So you spend your whole life.
Yeah.
So this is what you're telling me. You spend your whole life building your soul, right? You build this soul that you know that when you die, you're gonna unleash this motherfucking ball of soul unto the fucking, I don't know where it's going. But all I know is that when I fucking die, my fucking soul is leaving my body and is going somewhere, and something's gonna happen. Fuck yeah.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
I fucking believe that.
Okay.
You know
I think because it's like,
because Mike goes dark.
Yeah. Okay.
Mike believes that you die and you're fucking dead, and there's nothing, flatline, no light, no tunnel, cut scene.
Your time is over. You've wasted your life. You've wasted your life. It's over.
So I understand. I understand where Mike is coming from. I for some reason I don't want to believe that, because I feel like if a life can be taken that quickly, then life shouldn't just end. say for example, I get pushed into a fridge and then my neck breaks. My life shouldn't be done just because I get pushed into a fridge and my neck breaks.
Let's hope you're strong. Let's hope you're fucking strong. And you don't.
I gotta say that is the most unique analogy of a way to die that I've ever heard.
Yeah. I'm just into a fridge. I know. Poor guy. You got a rough house.
Hey, listen.
Yo, son. Making that radio show in the basement. Bam. Right. It's over.
I think you got some of our contacts.
I'm just saying. I feel what was that? Sorry, what did you say?
You got a contact high from some of our smoke.
It's fair.
Oh yeah, perhaps. But yeah, I believe that life isn't fair, but I don't think it's that unfair to the point where it can be taken so quickly. I feel like there's got to be some continuation. Also, I'm not stupid. Like, I don't know what happens. I generally don't know what happens after, because nobody knows. Because when you die, no one knows what happens. So, but I can only hope that, things continue after that.
See, this is it. This is what it truly comes down to.
Said the wrong word, man. Fuck.
It doesn't come down to belief. What it comes down to is hope. And I'm going to say, even though I like you, and then don't take this the wrong way, you're very selfish. Right? You're very selfish.
Okay.
Don't take it the wrong way. It's a good thing. I believe in being selfish. It's good. But it's that you want more than what you're given. And this is the thing. When you wish that there's something after this, you lose track and focus of what it really means to be alive. You lose fact on fact that we're so focused on what happens after our life that we don't really live what we're supposed to do, dude. We are supposed to be here living the life that we want to live and experiencing as much shit as you possibly can with no expectation.
That is the most insightful shit you have ever fucking said.
It's the truth. That's why I say this every week and I ask this question, because it never comes down to true belief. What it comes down to is hope and expectation.
But you never spoke it so eloquently as you did right now.
Well, it's just because I'm not as high.
Because you're always so bleak. You're always so bleak. Dead. Fuck off. And over. But now you position it in a way where there's so much poetic prose. I understand you better.
Yeah. And what do you think, Emerson Marshall? What do you think about my proposition here?
I agree. I think that people spend so much time living their lives off of a template, whether it's a religious template or a cultural template, that they believe that that'll grant them access to a better afterlife, Right. That they're not focused on the impact that they have now, like now and tomorrow and the next week and the next month.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand, and we all see it in media and stuff like that. So there's no way someone could argue with what you said, because it's 100% true.
Dude, as long as you don't, are you still there? As long as you don't believe that you go into the light and come out of another vagina and that you're crying.
Who said that last time?
Right? As long as you don't believe that. I've heard it all in my lifetime.
Someone said that. Who said that?
Was that Sickadime? No, it wasn't Sickadime.
Oh, he was Sickadime.
Was it sick? Right. Sorry, Sickadime, bro. But that one got me. I didn't forget that one all week.
That's some new shit.
That was a good one.
Some new shit.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Yeah, it's good. And you know what?
It's reincarnation, I guess. That could be reincarnation.
Instant coffee.
The light is the doctor's light you see. So you walk towards it. When you pop out of this crazy vagina, it's a luck of the draw, but vagina you're rolling out of. That's not good. That's crazy.
Roll the dice.
Yeah. Listen, I hope it's like that. I can't say I wish it was like that, because I have no idea what happens. I don't know. Nobody knows. But I wish it was like that, because that means we always get to keep living. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I don't like it. I want there to be more. But I'm, like you said, I'm selfish.
Yeah, it's all good. That's
what we do. Humans are selfish, though. Humans are selfish. So it's whatever, right?
For real, man.
Humans are selfish.
Yeah. It's a whole other conversation, because we literally sacrifice other humans just to wear the shit that we wear.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't like that conversation.
Yeah.
Guilty as fuck.
Yeah, it's good. Well, bro, it's really nice talking to you, man. We're going to get you back on again. We want to pick your brain, and we're gonna make sure everybody finds you, and if you ever need someone to call into your stuff, just hit us up.
For sure, we're around, man.
Hit us with the hard hitting questions.
Oh, that's gonna be really hard, but I will. I'll do my job. I have to do my job, but I will definitely, guys. I want to really show my gratitude. This has been a lot of fun. This is not how I planned on spending my Tuesday night. But I really enjoyed what we talked about, and I really do wish that we did this in front of an audience, because people would have really enjoyed this. This is great, but thank you so much, and I would love to have you guys on the show, and we could chop it up, and that would be phenomenal.
Awesome.
You guys are both very. You guys are well spoken, but you're so knowledgeable, and you guys are so passionate about just current events and and the local scene, and it's amazing. So thank you so much.
No problem, bro. You'll be the same way when you're 40. Don't worry.
Oh, hopefully. Hey, if I don't get my neck broken, if I don't get pushed into a fridge, let's see what happens, man.
Stay away from fridges.
Stay away from fridges. Emerson Marshal.
No more fridges for me.
Emerson Marshal, ACDJ, ALITE. High phrase, y'all. Peace.